Shalom, shalom. We the Hebrew Israelites from the camp GMS Cleveland. And before we get started, we'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kapadash, double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone, who grew well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. That preaches truth for the first and four corners of the earth. It's a brother Bakari with the brother Yabasap,
Shalom.
Mr. Levite, and this is another episode of the M.O.B. And we all should know what the M.O.B. is. But if you're new to this thing, the M.O.B. is the RFID chip / NFC chip. And you can find that written in Revelation 13, and it's also that hour of temptation. Because the whole world, everybody on the planet is gonna be tempted to either take the chip or to reject it. But majority of the planet is gonna take it. And I'll just get that scripture real quick. It's Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. It says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." Right, so that hour of temptation is that chip being mandatory. And this thing that they got out right now is the precursor to the hour of temptation. But when the actual chip come, things gonna be more draconian and harsh when it comes. But this thing that they got out, they conforming it into that, saying, because you got different articles that saying, should I be a part of society if I don't take the thing? That different other people saying, oh, you ain't take the thing yet. You shouldn't be able to go outside and go back to work or come around me or do any of these things. That Dr. Fauci had said he was also, if grandma took it, can little Jimmy go around with grandma? But then he said no, because grandma can have some stuff in her nose and little Jimmy could still catch it like that. But it's all leading to Esau's agenda. And his agenda is to control the whole world by chipping everybody. But the brother had an article. I'm gonna read the article. Oh, okay.
Salakia. This is an article, and what the brother speaks is true. Salakia for that. What the brother speaks is true because all of this is, like I said, is leading up to. Because at the end of the day, this is ultimately the plan of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. All these little chess piece moves. You know what I mean? Like without this happening, it won't lead up to the M.O.B. You know what I mean? So the precursor to that is that jab and stab, and they're putting those draconian measures into place right now. We were just speaking off camera about that. Putting society in a predicament where they got to choose to actually allow, this the Edomites science inside their system is the precursor to actually choosing to have that M.O.B. or not. And so, like I said, without that first taking place, put it like this: everything is systematic. The Most High does. This isn't really the will and plan of, Esau, Edom. This is the plan of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We are all just characters and players in this scripture. I mean, Salakia, the script, this movie script. This is the Most High's movie. But Salakia, we had an article because right now it's hot news about that digital dollar. What I mean? They brought it out. What was that, last year? Sometimes made it known. It was mentioned in the first stimulus. And then it was quickly not taken out, but they didn't make mention of it anymore. The first stimulus made mention of the digital dollar, and it's not by coincidence. You got Bitcoin just now starting to get back money, but they took a heavy loss. All these digital currencies took a heavy loss because at the end of the day, just speaking as a man, but to me, it's like Esau. Because when you go into Bitcoin, they don't know who actually created Bitcoin. They say that the one person is actually a group of people. So literally, like, you don't know if this is a government funded thing. What? So all it did was get you used to the idea of government. I mean, it's like of digital money.
Right.
So now you really think the federal, the Fed that deals with all the money, with this Fed that actually deals with the currencies of all these different nations, is going to allow a separate currency to reign out while they, you know what I mean? They can make it digital currency. Come on. And then you got, you got these different agencies talking about they should regulate cryptocurrency. China's cracking down on cryptocurrency right now. So, you know what I mean? All leading up to when all these countries is going to be on one digital dollar. This is the Fed, the article out of CNBC. It says Federal Reserve. Fed's Lael Brainerd pushes digital dollar as central bank currency race heats up. It's published on Monday, May 24th. Updated again Monday, May 24th. It's by Jeff Cox. It says key points. Federal Reserve Governor Lael Brainerd said cryptocurrency backed by the central bank could provide a variety of benefits. Getting payments to people during the early days of the COVID pandemic was one example. She also cited cross-border transactions and protection against fraud. So, again, that's the spirit, because we took time to think about it. When the IRS got involved, the IRS has never been a payment system like that. Like, they would pay you your tax refund, but now they're actually giving out like UBI. In July, they're going to start where you got these recurring payments for these families. That's like the ongoing UBI. And then if you even go delve deeper, you got certain countries. I mean, it's like in certain states. I forgot what city. I think it's a city in California, like Stockton. I think it's Stockton, where they started UBI, but they had been started. You know what I mean? Like, basically, they took these different individuals that were homeless and basically gave them a reoccurring amount of money to live off each month, and those people were actually able to prosper. So basically, it was experimenting. You know, Esau likes to experiment, and those people were model citizens after that too, because they're looking at the government as their protector. You know what I mean? Slovakia. Back into the article. So they're not looking at these people trying to literally hurt them. They actually, what's the word? They had full confidence in the government because they just, in their mind. That's how when you read about Hannibal and certain military leaders, Hannibal's leader, I mean, it's like Hannibal's soldiers loved him so much because he slept with his soldiers. He fought alongside. He wasn't one of those generals where how you got some of these supervisors and they tell you to do something, but they don't do it themselves. You lead, man, by you lead. So the first person to do, like the elder Apostle Torah made a statement. He said the king is supposed to be the most humble man out of, you know what I mean? Right. And they show you that in the Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Like, people thought that they supposed to rule just because who their father was and what bloodline they came out of. But then when they got a chance to have power, they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't go in wars. They didn't fight. They just was born with a lap of luxury with a silver scroll in their mouth. And then you see how horrible they did in leadership positions. It was like, selfish as people.
It was like that with our nation, Israel. You had all those. You had after King Solomon, you had Rehoboam and Jeroboam, and then the split with the northern kingdom and southern kingdom, and you had some righteous kings in Judah, the land of Judah, but all the kings in the land of Israel was wicked. You know, but just landing back on the brother's what he was just saying, you know, they didn't fight for it. It was just given to them. You know, but that's why our kingdom we fight for our kingdom. So when we get it, we go appreciate it.
Back in the article, it says providing financial services to nearly 1 in 5 Americans considered underbanked is one of the advantages Brainerd cited in a speech to the conference presented by CoinDesk. She also cited the safety of a Fed-backed system as well as improvements in efficiency and cross-border payments or transactions between people in different countries. While stressing the importance of moving forward carefully, Brainerd said that the CV-19 pandemic strengthened the need for a system in which a broad swath of the public has access to well-regulated digital money. The Federal Reserve remains committed to ensuring that the public has access to safe, reliable, and secure means of payment, including cash, she said. As part of this commitment, we must explore and try to anticipate the extent to which households and businesses need and preferences might migrate further to digital payments over time. Those comments some days after Fed Chair Jerome Powell announced that the central bank this summer will be releasing a working paper that addresses multiple issues involving central bank digital currency. And it made me just think of something again, like the elders and certain brothers go into the concept and the understanding the definition and what gradualism is. You get what I'm saying? Like they put it out there. It's been out there for quite some time. You've had people been investing in cryptos. You get what I'm saying? But it wasn't mainstream. Then now it's getting more mainstream. You get what I'm saying? So eventually, when you look up, when it's here, it's not gonna take everybody by, what's the word? Off guard. You go to certain local gas stations in ghetto neighborhoods and see Bitcoin machines. You get what I'm saying? So how much more further will it be, or how much more advanced, or what would it really be like once the Federal Reserve gets hold of it? Because you got to realize the Federal Reserve has banks in all the countries except for a few.
Right, yeah. Right now you got a whole bunch of jakes, like hundreds, thousands of jakes right now, that's investing into trading and doing and into groups and teams and shit like that, trying to come up because of the Bitcoin and all that shit.
And that's the spirit, but at the same time, that show you it's folly to. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. If you got money that you can play with, you know what I mean. Ain't nothing wrong with because the Lord. That made me just think of the scripture where it talks about the Lord. There's nothing for the Lord to make a poor man rich. The Lord could give a brother that the Lord dealing with, or he want to bless some money out of the lottery or anything out of this. But the thing is, you shouldn't put your heart and stock in your mind in it, because the thing is, they show you they manipulate the markets. Period. How the fuck your market wouldn't crash when you got no businesses going? Everything was on lockdown, so the market should have been doing terrible. It wasn't though.
And you got a lot, and when they lock down everything, you got a lot of people that's like, even right now, it's people that's in that trade and shit. That's really their life. Like that's all they do all day, and they so good where they just do that shit on their phone, or just that's their life. They don't gotta work or nothing.
Right. So they're supposed to be making money by the second. But
so
let me just explain. I mean to cut you off, but the thing, they're making money by the second. But the thing is, you got all kind of crashes,
right? And
they gonna have to crash this system to bring in a new system. So to bring the new system, so you're gonna, if you fully invested in this thing, where like you said, that's your God, like you said, you putting that before Most High and before, like that's what you really worship. Seeking, you know what I mean? You got men that seek money, worship women, worship them fucking selves. But if you worship in this system, when they crash that shit, you gonna, because you gotta remember, it's been stock market crashes before.
Right. Right. I was about to say that. And once the U.S. dollar crash, all them people gonna be looking stupid.
It tell you scriptures in your silver and gold is canker. It tell you in the book of Ezekiel that they gonna throw their silver and gold in the street.
Genesis say the money feather.
It tell you I don't know. But anyway, long story short, I mean, at the end of the day, that's why it talks about lay up your treasures in heaven. I mean, it tells you about your obvious. How does that scripture go about? What do you love? What your heart gonna be where you what you love or something. Right. That's the same scripture, right? And your eye should be single. You know what I mean? Like single meaning focus. You're supposed to have that focus on this. Because there's a million distractions out here. But we can say that. We seen brothers fall out. We might not know why they fell out. I mean, one particular brother case, and brothers laugh at it, but that's a scary thing. If anything can take you out. Let alone a woman. If a woman kill you, that's you're gonna be laughed at. But let alone a woman take you out the truth. Like that's a scary thing, and the Lord can use whatever. That's the thing. It could be a brother lose fall out the truth for his family, his children. You know what I mean? That the Lord ain't gonna care about none of that shit. Because you love them more than you love them.
Or if you don't have no food, or I'm just take the chip.
Right.
Like, you go. But one more thing about that trade thing, because I remember I ran across this one girl. She an Israelite and stuff, and she spoke on that. She had brought that up. Like, well, when they push this thing in, you can't maneuver in the society no more. you got to get that shit up. So it was just a spirit. Like she knew it was gonna be come a time where that shit gonna be over with. But just going back to what the brother was saying, how a lot of people not in that mindset, in that spirit. So when or don't even know about the truth. So when they crash and stuff, they gonna be looking stupid.
Back in the article, it says the Boston Fed and MIT have launched a joint project in which they will set up a hypothetical model, and several other Fed districts also are involved with research of their own. So I'm taking this like basically they're gonna set up, experiments. Like I told you, like it's Dr. California, because they said they're gonna set up a hypothetical model. You know what I'm saying? Not hypothetical meaning what if, what if this happens? So they're going like, Esau likes to actually do studies and whatnot. So they'll test it out. Just like how China, they call it beta testing. They always you build something, then they got to try it out and test it. You know what I mean? Come on, we in a beta test of this shit right now with this old jab and stuff. They don't know what the fuck that shit was gonna do to people. Why do you think they made it not nobody's liable for any side effects that might take place? Slovakia. It says essentially the development of the CBDC will give consumers broader central bank digital currency will give consumers broader access to electronic currency, the likes of which have been popularized with the use of Bitcoin as mirror peer. China's central bank has been moving forward with its own project as having various others around the world. Brandert said the pandemic presented an example of how important developing a Fed-backed currency could be. When Congress began sending relief payments at the outset, some individuals didn't get theirs for weeks because they either did not have accounts or their information was not updated with the IRS. A CBDC would help get money more quickly to those people, she said. In the United States, the pandemic led to acceleration of the migration to digital payments as well as increased demand for cash. And that's the spirit, because when you take time to think about it, they were saying that too. They was like, you'll get your stimulus check quicker if you had an account. And they kept on saying, they got the account, get it quicker. Because you still got to, if people wasn't aware, you still got people that didn't even get their stimulus in. You still got stimulus payments going out. And when did they pass that? Like in March. You going on June. So, I mean, like I said, we going on, you just passed the third one. So you don't think, like, people that was getting paper checks and how long it took, putting their mind, well, let me get a bank account, let me switch over. Right, and that, like you said, at the end of the day, that's what Esau is coming down. Like I said, when you take the time to see what all the Lord got worked up, come on, you got these droughts, you got a lack of rain right now, you got a shortage of food. So the more desperate people get, the more people, you really about to, Mortal Kombat, they say, test your might. You about to really test your faith. Yeah, the Lord about to test your faith. Because when you see all the calamities that's coming, is you really going to just trust in Him? Or is you going to be carnal and trust in Esau? It says, while the use of cash spiked at certain times, there was a pronounced shift by consumers and businesses to contactless transactions facilitated by electronic payments. And that shows you how they pushed. Basically, this was like social engineering. Because you got to remember, they said they did a study on this, and they see more people spent money digitally, and it was contactless. But you required it to be contactless, remember? All the delivery drivers at Pizza Hut, these different restaurants, they had contactless. You wouldn't allow them to come into the restaurants. So it ain't like this was just people chose to do it. You said it, you geared it like that. This is fucking the devil. Bernard noted, without naming specific cryptocurrencies, this is the point. This is another point that we just made mention of. Bernard noted, without naming specific cryptocurrencies, because you got more than one. And then these are outside of the Fed scope. The Fed, she about to make that mention of it. She said that alternative payment systems present multiple problems, including potential fraud. So she's saying that those systems is not worthy. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not backed by our system. So if that's the case, like I said, me and you and a group of brothers can be sitting up there and we can be like, we're going to come up with our own money. And we're going to trade it amongst ourselves and with whoever want to deal with it. They're not going to allow you to do that. Why do you think the greenback is still in power? Okay. Why do you think certain leaders actually been taken out, like Gaddafi and whatnot? Because the petrodollar, you know what I mean? Like, which is all backed by the Fed. The article almost over with. It's like 1/3. In contrast, a digital dollar will be a new type of central bank money issued in digital form for use by the general public, she said, by introducing safe central bank money that is accessible to households and businesses in digital payment systems. Central bank digital currency would reduce counterparty risk and the associated consumer protection and financial stability risk. Now, and that's pretty much the point. It says now the Fed has not set a timetable for the currency. It says the Fed Now service, which would be a payment system that in some way will resemble a digital dollar, is expected to come online in 2 years. Well, who's to say that? You know what I mean? You know, like you gotta remember these people will tell you one thing and do another thing. That's just putting it out there though. Now you got and if you never heard a brother tell you that the truth, don't try to keep no timetables in mind. Because the Lord got a thing, you know what I mean? It's not on your time, it's his. You wanna hear something spiritual? Not to digress. Right while I was reading that and we just talking, literally they popped up about the $1 million lottery winner. For the vaccine, vaccine, like for the vaccine though. He got it.
It's Revelations 13 and 16. It says, "He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." So there you go. They're going to have buying and selling right there. This gonna be the new form of money. You know, it ain't gonna be no more paper dollars, credit cards with the chips in it. That's gonna be done away with.
The chip is that chip
It's
thing.
gonna be the chip inside you.
Right. The chip is to get you used to having to do that. You know what I mean? And just like with the Apple Pay, using your phone to pay, that's to get you used to actually getting scammed. You know what I'm saying?
And this thing gonna cause all majority of the earth gonna take this thing. I know. So it's.
And it makes
I
you
remember. It's a country in Africa. I think the chip was. I think it's either mandatory. Yeah, I think it's a country in Africa. It started with a U. If I'm mistaken, it's mandatory though. That was a couple of years ago. All right, this is Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured stone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb." And majority of the people on earth is going to die than to be saved. So that means majority of the people is going to take the chip, because the judgment for taking this chip is death. You know, getting burnt up. You know, this is the ultimate death. You know, getting your head chopped off on a guillotine, that's not death. You know, this taking this chip, that's death, because that's gonna give you a daily judgment. You know. So if you take the chip, which is the M.O.B, you know, it's over with for you. It's no repentance. You basically an Edomite. You know, until you come back in the incarnation, if you were Israel. But Lord, one of this is edifying. With that, we'll close out. You know, all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachadash.
People honor to the apostles, others to bring millstone, we will. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom and the Bod Ball.
Shalom.
Shalom.